right, there you are. You do know you're live. We're live, right?
OMG.
Okay, because I was like,
OMG.
please let me in, because we are live.
OMG.
Can you hear me?
OMG.
Can you hear me?
OMG. Okay, I'm good.
It's all good. How many people? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Whew.
Welcome everybody to the Three Wise Pet Pros. Let's go.
Yes.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing really good. I've let technology take me for a minute, and I was like, oh my gosh. You was like, let me in. And I was like, I'm in the back room too. But it's all good.
I know.
It's like all great.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So are you able to see me okay, even though I'm on the road? Am I breaking up or?
Your voice is a little, but I can see you great. But in regards to, like, is your windows open?
No.
Okay. It's the back roads of the country of Michigan.
It's the road noise. That's right. Well, I'll just speak up louder because that's what people want.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So, obviously, if you are watching, if you just jumped into this video, I don't see any eyes yet, but that's okay because Dr. Kroom, Vet Tech Tony, Miss Nicole will jump in here soon. Is that we want to make sure that we are we're doing what we want to do, and that is sharing information with you, getting information from you. But technology played a part, entrepreneurship played a part. I'm not even at home. Neither is Dr. Kroom, right? But guess what? I'm in front of Dr. Kroom's house because if I go inside her house, I won't have a signal.
Right.
Yes, and then Dr. Kroom is out in the field, So with that being said, we're not going to talk about why we're running late or what's going on with that.
Nobody cares. We don't need to talk.
We want to be. Let's go.
That's right. Yes. Plus, not to mention, we have a pretty interesting topic tonight. I don't think we have any banners, but that's okay. We don't need them. Tonight, we're going to be talking about toxic environments and plants and anything that's toxic to our pets. And not just the regular old stuff we already know. We'll talk about that too. But we want some exotic stuff, because everybody doesn't just have a cat or a dog, right?
Yes.
So, yes. So, we might as well go ahead and talk about the ones we already know, right, Tony? Like for our dogs, what are some of the main things that we already know can be toxic to them?
So, I automatically think, like avocados, is toxic. And sometimes, okay, I want to add in one thing. So sometimes, like when we say toxic, like you do not want to give this to your pet because your pet will like roll over and like not be good with. There's nothing you can do. Like it is what it is. Like within like 12 to 24 hours. But then there is foods that you shouldn't give your pets, which I would still identify as toxic because you don't want to put your pet in the position of being like his digestive system being upset, like his neurological system being dysfunctional. So when we talk about toxic, we want to talk about toxic and things that you just in general should not feed your pets. And avocado is one of them. Avocado seeds, avocado the meat of it, you do not want to give your pets. You got one, Doc?
I do. Another one is onions.
Onions?
Onions.
Oh my God, I love onions. Thank goodness I'm
I
not an
love
animal.
onions too. I know. And it's like sometimes you be making that food with the onions. It's so good. And you want to just share it with Fluffy. Or you just like, oh, don't you? Oh, and then it's got the onions. You like, better not do it. You know, onions have that ingredient inside that makes it super toxic to dogs, cats, and another type of animal that you maybe wouldn't have ever thought, but reptiles. Reptiles
Ooh.
also don't do well with onions at all. Like, you should not give that. Not that you would just, I mean, can we just picture like, okay, I'm gonna go give my snake or my gecko or my lizard an onion? Like, probably not. But still, it's
Right.
good to know these things. It's good to know these things. And also, you know, one of the things you just mentioned, Tony, about 24 hours, some of these toxins can take a hold like really quickly, like within hours. And then some, you know, might not be as toxic so quickly. So some of the tools that we need as pet professionals is, because it can be a really an emergency situation, is things like activated charcoal
Mm-hmm.
that you can use. We know charcoal binds and allows toxins to bind to it. So you actually would give it internally if they ate it, you would give it, and then when it gets excreted, then it will have those toxins attached to it. So that's one of the things that you could give. Oops,
Yes.
I just kind of jump right into treatments, but
But that's good. That's great. I mean, because we're talking about toxic foods, but then you also want to be like, what do I do? Because we've had people call the mobile vet service and be like, my dog got a hold of, this pill or he ate this. And it's like, what can you do before you make that phone call? Is there something that you can do? That is important as a pet parent, just as like if you have any human children or a human person, like if you get some bleach splashed in your eye, what do? You go into a panic attack and you want to make sure we want to help educate you to make sure that you have a little bit of knowledge that we're able to share with you. So you mentioned the charcoal. One that I can say is hydrogen peroxide, but you also want to be careful. Hydrogen peroxide will induce vomiting. So some things that a pet would ingest, you do not necessarily want them to vomit it back up, because that could cause more irritation to the esophagus, the digestive system, and then you're still in a situation that you don't want to be in. So, Dr. Croom mentioned the activated charcoal, which I think is a really good one over the hydrogen peroxide in regards to the what can I not give
safety.
the hydrogen peroxide for? Yeah, because that way it's
Yeah.
excreted versus vomiting.
Yep. You definitely would not want to give hydrogen peroxide with anything caustic, like an acid, or even
Yeah.
base. Acid and the opposite is a base, but a very strong base is bleach. Bleach is one of the most strong bases. So don't get it twisted and think that it's only acid, something acidic that you wouldn't want an animal to vomit back up. Also things that are basic as well. So
Right.
you'd want to go with that charcoal.
Yes.
Go with that. But some other common toxic substances that we know of for like dogs. We're gonna get these out of the way and then talk about some more of the exotic animals too. Is I had said onions. What's another one that you know of, Tony? Miss Tony?
Oh my goodness. So I'm sitting in front of Dr. Kroom's house, and yes, you would think Vet Tech Tony, she knows everything that no, I don't. We talked about this topic, and it was like, okay, so I have some notes written down because I did do some studying. but I did not bring them with me because we're we're taking care of our fur babies and our pet parents so that they can be taken care of. So that being said, I'm trying to think of what my notes said as why I roll these words out of my mouth. Oh my goodness, it was one when we were talking on Sunday, and it was like, oh, for real? Oh my goodness, what was it? Do you?
Well, go ahead.
No, I'm just trying to remember. We probably got a little bit of delay in regards to you're on the road and I'm sitting out here.
Well, if there is anybody in the chat and you know of a toxic substance that we want to avoid giving to our dogs or cats, we're just focusing on dogs and cats for the moment. Go ahead and write that in the chat, please. And say who you are, if you could. We would love that. Yes, we would.
Okay, so I know my son actually is like he's one of the behind the scenes Three Wise Pet Pros. And one of the questions he asked me was, well, actually he had did some work for us, and it was like milk. He was like, you shouldn't feed your cats milk because they're lactose intolerant. So intolerance is still an issue that you don't want to deal with. Like, yes, a cat will lap up some milk and be like, oh my God, this is so yummy. But regular cow's milk is really hard on a cat's digestive system. One of the milks that is easily digestible for most pets that I'm aware of in regards to your furry pets, cats and dogs, is goat's milk. Goat's milk is easily digestible. And when I say goat's milk, you're going to, you can go to your most common natural health food stores will have it. But if you can get it straight from a farmer, that is the best because 100% sure that it has not been processed in any way. And that is easy for them to digest. So it's not that it is toxic to cats, but it will cause very upset. If a human child is allergic to lactose, like the vomiting, diarrhea, the same thing will happen to a cat. So, but I know when I raised a couple of litters, I fed them goat's milk.
Well, you brought up a good point, Ms. Tony, because being intolerant, you're right. It's different than fully being like, oh, something is toxic versus just being intolerant. But just is a word that's like, oh, I'm just, but it can set up a reaction in your body or your pet's body.
Right.
Cause inflammation and things that maybe are not so visible on the outside right away, but they're wreaking havoc inside the body. And then, so you've got to listen to what we're saying, you guys. We're giving you the information. Yes, your cat should not be drinking milk. Just like we shouldn't, but we're not going to get into that in this. We're not going to get into that. No, we're not. But yeah, so another thing that I've thought of is grapes and raisins for dogs.
Yes.
Grapes and raisins, definitely highly toxic. We don't want that. And most people do know about that one too, so we won't linger on that one too long.
So
grapes and raisins.
Yes, Doc?
Oh no, go ahead.
So I pulled up a couple of my notes. Another one, we talked about milks and grapes and onions, but we didn't mention garlic, but that is right next to it as well. But also, like pits and seeds from fruit. So when you think about pits and seeds, you'd be like, what do you mean? So like apples,
cherries.
Yes. You do not want to give your pets any of those potatoes.
Oh.
Which one did you say?
I was saying, the fruits with seeds with tips like that are called stone fruits. So any of the
Okay.
stone fruits you don't want to give. Yeah, stone fruits. And go ahead, continue. I can put y'all.
Nope, that's okay. So yes, the pits and seeds for fruit. When I said potato, I want to like potato is actually okay, but if it is raw, no raw potatoes for your fur babies.
Mm,
No raw
nope,
potatoes.
that's right. It's got something in there that's not going to digest too easily
Right.
and be toxic. Well, we've talked about dogs and cats and some of the more common things. I think there's some really plants that can be toxic too, poinsettias. I know
Mm-hmm.
antifreeze is another thing that's really important. It's probably not so much these days that antifreeze still has that sweet taste. They'll say, oh, it has that sweet taste, the dogs drink it. These days, they probably more often than not have some non-good tasting stuff, I'm hoping. And so keep those in mind. But
Right.
also, too, I've done, especially since I've recently gotten more on the more reptiles in my extended fur family. Oh, I guess scaly family.
Yes, ma'am.
I have to. We have to learn about those toxic items too. And it's interesting that you had said this about the stone fruits because reptiles also should not be given the pits of stone fruits. Like just let them play with that, or no, you definitely don't want to do that with the stone fruits for reptiles. They can have some fruit, right? Some of the species, like your crested gecko and others that are similar to the crested, they can have fruit in their diet. But you
Right.
want to be very careful with extra sugar. Extra sugar can be toxic just like it can be for us. So you don't want to go overboard with the fruit. You don't want to give them anything that has, all the corn syrups and all that stuff. You want to know that sugar is toxic to us too, but that's for another podcast as well.
Right.
Jeez,
Right.
that's a little to my own advice on that one, but yes. So no excess sugar for the reptiles. We don't want to cause whack gut and other things.
Right. Okay. Um. So that is great information. Um, if you're watching this, hashtag replay, like, and share. But I will add in also that a common treat that is given to most commonly dogs. I don't think too many cats that I know of like ready to lap up some peanut butter, but peanut butter. You want to make sure that when you're giving peanut butter, that it is xylitol free or your
Mm,
natural based peanut butters because not everybody looks for a natural based peanut butter. They just be like peanut butter, and not all
right.
peanut butters are pet friendly. So when
And
you are looking for peanut butter, all natural, go ahead, Dot.
I was just gonna say right now there's a recall
Ooh,
on the
really?
peanut butter. Yeah, Jiffy and some
Uh
others
huh.
recall right now. So you want to be careful. Any of that peanut butter right now could be toxic because there's a recall for salmonella.
Ooh, peanut butter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, it's
See,
probably right at the top of the news that it's on a recall right now. So I'm not gonna be buying any right now. But I already have some of my own stuff that I've already got.
right. Again, going natural base is the best. Does it cost two or three, maybe $5 more? Yes. But knowing that it has went through less processes than most other products, like with anything, even like our fruits and veggies, organic is means that though they may have used something to keep bugs and things off of the product, it isn't something natural. So like diatomaceous earth, that keeps bugs out of the gardens, but is a natural base, so it is safe to use in gardens with and still be identified as an organic garden versus like spraying some chemicals on it and be like, oh, I got the bugs off my spinach. I just thought about this time that I had some kale growing, and I was like, oh, look at my kale is growing. And literally, like less than 12 hours, I looked at my kale again, and it was just little stems sticking up because there were little bugs on it. I was like, they ate my kale. So you have no idea. Like literally, like I looked at my kale, I was like, it was growing, it was sprouting, had little baby kale. I was like, I'm having me a baby kale salad. And I was like, oh, the
baby bug salad.
So, you know, tonight, we talked about not products. We talked about substances, foods, seeds that are toxic to our fur babies. We want to make sure, and we didn't even mention all of them. So if we didn't mention something that you know that is toxic, please put it in the comments so that we can share with other pet parents, because there are so many things, you know, different lifestyles that people will have in their home or in their yard that they may not even be aware of that is toxic to their pets. Like, you know, we talk about our fur babies all the time, but our scaly ones, you know, there's different things that you wouldn't put in an aquarium. There's different things that you would, so many different things. So if there's something that we did not mention and you know what it is, put it in the comments, hashtag replay, like, and share. Dr. Kroom, do you have anything you want to say?
Not really. No. Just be very careful with your pet babies. Read up, check in with the 3 Wise Pet Pros, and you will do right by your pet. Hey!
Yes, yes, yes! I'm shouting that out to our Mr. Jackson. All right, everybody, take care. We love you. Again, like and share. And if you're watching this, hashtag replay.